I caught up with a friend earlier this week, and it's one of those friends where you don't really stay too current on each other's lives. Like this person, I probably talk to them once a year, and it's over the phone or it's in person, but it's still a friend. It's still a person I would say when talking about them, they're a friend. Because what's the alternative? Stranger? I was talking to a guy. Well, why are we talking to them? Well, okay, they're my friend. There you go. But I was catching up with a friend, and if you have a friend that you don't talk to frequently enough and they don't have social media, so don't know what's going on with them online, right? They can't post updates. So it's pretty much just like when I run into them one time a year, I will ask for, yeah, how's it going? And then, they say, good, good. And then they'll dump some big ones. And you're like, oh, do we need to address those? They're like, no, it happened a while ago. You can leave it. But a recent one was that he was like, oh, yeah, like a month ago. He's like, I got laid off. Here, listen to this. This is almost like a stand up comedy bit, he tells me. He's like, on Friday, I get laid off. Sunday, my grandfather dies. I was like, oh, didn't do anything fun Saturday? He was like, well, Saturday we spent like all day with my soon to be deceased grandfather. So I was like, oh, that's good. You got a pregame in. That's nice. Well, who said you didn't do anything fun 3 days in a row, huh? Seems like a good 3 day weekend. You don't have to even wait for Memorial Day. Seems like you jam packed enough into that weekend. But that's what happens when you don't keep in touch with friends that often, but you're still friends, is that they give you these things, right? You could be having a normal week and then suddenly, hey, so my dog died, my grandfather died, my dad almost died, but then, he kind of, it nicked him. What nicked him? Cancer, but he dealt with it. I'm sorry, did you say cancer nicked him? Yeah, I put up a good, it was they kind of shoulder checked him in a way. Like it wasn't that big of a concern, but we all did say, should we do something about this? But he's like, no, I'll take care of it. Guys, just keep walking. And so, yeah, he took care of it. I'm like, oh, okay. So yeah, what are you up to? Oh yeah, I'm just watching this show now. I'm like, that's nice. So we're saying normal things. But that's what happened recently. And I wonder, do you have friends like that where it's like, yeah, we're friends. So we know intimate details about each other's lives, but it's like, that's really all. It's a weird dynamic, right? There's like people you see every day at work where they're like not your friends, but for some reason they know the minutia, the everyday activities that you do. Oh, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, you went to a baseball game? That's nice. Did you catch the ball? Oh, you weren't playing? Well, you can still catch a ball. Those foul tips. Let me tell you a story about one time I caught a foul tip. Crazy night at a gay bar. Oh, that foul tip. That's not what, maybe they should clean the tip? Anywho, when you work with people, they get all the little things. But when you're friends with someone, they drop the big things. And then they sprinkle in little things. You ever see this? It's really hard to put a bunch of little things and then put big things on top of them. And that's what people always say in terms of productivity. If you want to design your life and be more productive, you have to establish what your non-negotiables are. And your non-negotiables, imagine this. You got like a cylinder. Those, I have a Ninja. And so I make smoothies in it. But imagine one of these containers, right? If you're trying to fill this, I actually use this, what I'm about to describe, when I'm making smoothies. If you're trying to shove everything into a smoothie thing, it has a little mark on the top where it says max, don't get above this. And I always do. And then I'm like, why is it jammed? Why is it not doing what it's doing? And, I obviously not followed instructions, but why is that my fault, huh? I should be able to do things the way I want to do them and face no repercussions, huh? Consequences? Oh yeah, I got a couple C words for you too, pal. Watch it, okay? But imagine you're trying to shove stuff in a Ninja blender. You start with the big things if you have little things. Because if you put a bunch of little things, let's say, I use collagen powder. If I put all the collagen powder in, then it creates this base. It's about an inch of a base. So when you put your strawberries in, well, now they're going to build on that base. What you do is you put the strawberries in first, and then you pour the collagen, so the collagen falls all around it. The real pros know you wait till the very end to put collagen in, because if you put the collagen in too early and there's some liquid, some moisture, then it'll start to gel up and the whole thing gets fucky. But that's only for the advanced members of the smoothie society. But this applies to real life too. You establish your strawberries, you establish your non-negotiables. You put the big things in and you let the little things filter throughout. And that's kind of what these conversations with longtime friends feel like. They drop their big strawberries on you. What a time, huh? But they drop their big strawberries on you and then they sprinkle in their collagen, they sprinkle in their blueberries, they sprinkle in their chia seeds. And they make a joke here or there. And you're like, oh, that's nice. That's the added value, huh? But you do have to establish the strawberries because that's what ultimately the smoothie is a vehicle for. That's what the smoothie is built on. It's your strawberries. So yeah, it was nice catching up, but it was a little jarring because I just woke up Saturday. He's like, you got a second? I was like, yeah, I'm down. And then he was like, yeah, my life is just falling apart. I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Well, did you need help with something? He was like, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. I wanted to ask you about a survey that I'm doing for my new job. Just trying to get a pulse on society. So I figured I'd ask you as one of the 15 people. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do it. Another thing I decided to do this week is, yeah, I'll address the elephant in the room. I'm wearing a brown shirt. Carb, no one thought that was an elephant in the room. Oh, okay. Thank you. I've been actually slimming out a little bit. Thank you. Thank you so much. No, 2 pounds less, which just means I wasn't putting stuff in my pockets when I weighed myself that day. But I'm wearing a brown shirt, which is kind of tough on a brown guy because sometimes if you get the wrong shade of brown, you don't know where the skin is stopping and where the skin is ending. You know what I mean? It's almost like I'm the bare naked ladies, except I'm a guy and only the upper half of me is naked. So it's really nothing like the bare naked ladies. But I'm sure every skin tone has this problem, right? A lot of melanin members often call this out when they're wearing their tans and their beiges, but I'm sure, the Caucasian community has a little trouble with their chalk white t-shirts. Because then, yeah, just like they're a glow stick and it's already bright on a summer day, and I'm sure, yeah, there's certain whites they can't buy. Just like I love the color brown, but brown can only be for your lower half, except your socks. This is actually something I wrote down a few weeks ago, and I want to bring it up here because it's pertinent information. It's imperative that we talk about this, you and I. This is something, why don't you take a seat, actually? This might be a while. It'll actually be about 27 minutes, if we're being exact. But brown socks are tough to pair with an outfit when you're the same shade of brown as them. I noticed that. I got these brown Dickies socks. I got Dickies on my footsies. And I've noticed when I put them on, oh, it's nice. You can wear them, right? It's kind of an interesting thing. This is something I'm starting to do in my life. This is what 27-year-olds do. They start toying with little things in their life, and then people either notice them or they don't. Like my big strawberry that I would drop on a friend is like, I've been wearing different colored socks. And they're like, okay, interesting. And what's the big thing? That is big, okay? I've worn black and white socks for so long now. You have to understand this is a big jump for me. From, I would say, I don't know what I was doing in elementary school. Maybe I wasn't even wearing socks. I don't know what was going on. But I remember specifically in middle school, I started wearing black socks because I don't know what was going on. I noticed all the cool kids were wearing black socks. I was like, I gotta have me a piece of that action, okay? I don't even have to be cool. I just have to get the accessory and then I'm in the club. It's perfect. It's like paying for a membership, right? And that's why I pay for CalFit. CalFit's a dead place, but that's why I pay for a gym membership. And I don't go, but I like to be part of the club. I like to talk about it with people because I know what goes on there. I don't need to go. I can be part of these conversations. Well, Gaurav, you don't actually have the membership to be part of those conversations. You can save the money and still talk with them. No, because then I'll know I'm a fraud. I need the membership so that when I tell lies, it won't be clear. I have a tell. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but I have a very clear tell when I'm lying. If I don't have a gym membership, they're going to know I'm lying when I say, yeah, tough day at the weight room, right, guys? And they're like, you don't go to the gym. I'm like, was that obvious by what I said? They're like, no, we're looking at you. Oh, well, this is a very form-fitting shirt, okay? There's a lot underneath the skin layer, okay? Have you even taken a look at my mantle or my core? I have a great core, guys. That's where all my food goes. That's not, okay. But yeah, brown socks are really tough to pair with an outfit because they kind of just blend it all together. It looks like it's just more ankle down there. It looks like you're freeballing some sneakers. And I don't want to be a guy that's doing that. But yeah, in middle school and high school, I was only wearing black socks. I wore black socks and Vans because I was like, well, that's what everyone cool is wearing, so I'll do that. I remember the first time I got my first pair of Vans, it was 7th grade. I was wearing Airwalks leading up to that because my mom would always take us to Payless growing up. And she'd be like, pick out a pair of shoes. And I would always go with the Airwalks that look like Vans because I'm like, well, this is what people are wearing, right? Because I had no concept of what a brand was. So I was like, oh, Airwalks. And then I realized like what things were. And I was like, well, now I have to get Vans. Which is also crazy looking back at Vans because Vans are what, $80, $90? They're very inexpensive. I just bought a pair of Vans the other day, $65. Weren't even on sale. About 3 months ago or whatever, Black Friday, 4 months ago, do the math. You know what I'm talking about. That one Friday. I bought a pair of Vans for fucking $32. They were doing a sale. It was awesome. Haven't worn them yet, but I have them. And I'm happy with my purchase. Well, God, if you're not wearing them, so it's not worth the money. Now you sound like other people in my life. Okay? This is a safe space, I thought. Excuse you. But then I don't know what happened. Yeah, in college I was wearing black socks, and then after college I was like, well, let's do the white. Then end of college and into my adult life, I'm like, let's do white socks because white socks make sense with an outfit. But now I've kind of caught my stride 3 months into 27, and I'm like, let's go beige, let's go tan, let's kind of mess it up down there, huh? People always say that. Oh, if you have a nice cardigan, what am I even saying? That's crazy. Don't say that word. That's the C word I was talking about. Cardigan. You made me say it. But now if you got, I don't even know what the fuck a if you, if you told me, Garv, draw a cardigan, I would draw a sweater. Is that what a cardigan is? I don't fucking know. But if you have a sweater that's like maroon, oh my god, how chic is it to wear maroon socks? I don't own maroon socks, but I own brown socks, and that's a problem because the rest of me is brown, so I can't be doing the same down there. You have to go a dark brown, and that's why this shirt is actually okay. It's a little darker than I. It's even asking me, oh yeah, how many times a week do you eat Indian food? I'm like, what's that big deal? Oh yeah, you're not a true Indian. I remember there were these friends, well, yeah, we're just going to use the word friends colloquially to tell my story. Same reason where it's like, oh, are they actually your friend? No, I don't know. But in order to tell my story, I had these friends. I had these friends growing up. They were Indian, and a couple of them, they really lean into the whole Indian thing as part of their identity. And they were like, Garv, how many times a week do you eat Indian food? I'm like, well, we do it every Sunday, and then sometimes maybe another day. So like 1 to 2 times a week. And they're like, get a load of this guy. We eat it every day, almost every meal every day. I was like, okay, I don't. And they're like, yeah, you fucking coconut. I was like, okay, yep, go ahead. I was like, why are we doing friendly fire? You should be attacking other people. Why is there inter-race wars? Okay. But I remember one time I got so sick of it. I remember like playing video games and they kept nailing me on like, oh, you don't even eat Indian food. And I thought I was so clever, so smart. They're vegetarian. So before I got up to go eat lunch, I was like, all right, well, fuckers, I'm going to go eat a burger. As if that was some like big own. This is my mic drop moment. I was like, yeah, suck on that. I'm going to go put meat in my mouth. I bet you can't do that. Even though you seem to always have mine in your goddamn mouth. Get off my fucking dick, guys. Okay? So what? I don't eat Indian food every day. What the fuck is that? Am I not a worthy human being? But yeah, brown socks are tough, but I'll figure it out. Something I've run into as you go out and you hang out with friends, right? You got it? Cool. Hold on to it. One frequent thing I run into is brunch. That's usually the activity that you're going to be doing. And so I always like to look at the menu before you get there. And I run into a problem. A lot of these like website or like app menus make me feel insane because sometimes you'll click a menu and you have no idea how to get back to the previous menu, and then you feel trapped. It feels like someone threw you in a room, locked it from the outside, and you're just stuck in there. There's no even handle in the indoors. It's like they put a straitjacket on you. They threw you in a padded room, and then they're like, yeah, choose what bread you want, ciabatta or fucking some other bread, sourdough. And you're like, get me out of here. It's so frustrating. I tried to order from a sandwich place this week, and I got their app, because I want the points, because I want the rewards. So I will be saving money. So I can get a brookie every other week for free. You know the vibe. But I got into this menu, and then I was like, oh, I want to go back to the menu, and I couldn't figure it out. There was no error. You couldn't swipe. You couldn't press like the home button. It was stuck. It was glitched. And I felt crazy. And I was like, this always happens. And it's always these fucking brunch spots with their fucking pastel colored menus. It's always some shade of fucking blue. It's just like very nautical blue. Like a blue you would see in the sailboat industry. It's always that shit. It's always bright. It's annoying. And it's like, oh yeah, what drinks, what mocktails do you want? I'm like, I want to get out of here. Okay? I don't know how I got in here. But it always feels, I don't have claustrophobia. But that is the closest I can feel to being there. I understand. I'm adjacent to the culture, okay? All of you people that get in elevators and start freaking out, I get it, because I've ordered brunch from a place before. And then it's like, oh, you can't even see the menu unless you agree to like start your order. I don't want to start my order. I want to see what you guys have to offer. Especially in this day and age, right? Where people are so afraid to commit. That's the big thing online, right? No one's able to commit these days. What is that? Attachment style? Oh yeah, I don't know what the attachment styles are because I have a full time job. But people nervous, right? Fucking whatever. I don't know. But it's like, why are you making the youth of today? The youth are the ones that are not getting relationships. They're going to brunch with their other single friends. So why are you making them to commit to starting an order? That's not them. Let them window shop, and then they'll be more inclined to, oh, maybe I do want something with this person. I like what I see. Maybe now I'll slide into the DMs. That's the worst thing, right? About these stupid things online where it's like, oh, we're going to hold some features and some details behind a paywall. Well, then I'm not going to do it. You ever look up something? You're like, oh, I wonder what the celebrity's doing. And then it's a fucking paywalled article. Now I don't care. I hope the celebrity's dead. Oh, what? Well, I don't know if you should go that far, Garb. No, no, no. I wish the worst for them. I hope the next time I Google their name, there's not a fucking article from People's Magazine. There's a fucking start and end date. I want to see a fucking hyphen, okay? Because I've had enough of this shit. Oh, and now I got to pay this dead medium of magazines, couple coins, so I can read up on some celebrity that I actually misspelled the name of, so it's not even the right article. Fuck me. So yeah, this is something I've run into. I'm sure you've run into it before too, right? You get into a a menu, and then sometimes you're really deep, and you're like, oh, I don't even know what I'm doing. Sometimes I'll just keep pressing stuff, and I'm like, I think I just added pickles to my order, which is weird because I got soup. Is that like an acceptable combination? Are we able to do that, or is that am I too far ahead of things? Oh, there's that one weird person that likes doing it. I don't want to be associated with them. Let me get the pickle off my fucking order. Okay. Sometimes I'll even like restart my phone because I'm like, why is the app glitched? Is something stuck? Because there's no way this is the actual feature of the website. It's no way they like trap you in there and they're like, yep, you can't do it. It feels like you got to do like a fucking riddle or something. It's like you're crossing a bridge and then there's the wizard, you know? He's like, ooh, must answer my riddle to cross my bridge, and then you must eat a frog. But the catch is, you can't eat it with it knowing that you're in its bog. I'll kill myself. How about that? I don't give a shit. You can keep your brie cheese, okay? I don't care what weird bespoke cookies you have on display. I don't give a shit, okay? They're $17. I don't give a fuck. I'll just go, to some bullshit ass Rayleigh's Bel Air and get a pack of 24 or whatever for $8. I don't want to be here, man. I don't care. Oh, artisanal? I don't know what that word means. Artisanal. Is that an art thing? Is it a fucking seasonal thing? Is it a spice? Is it an art style? I don't know. I don't know what your words mean, and I don't want to be here. It feels like you're having a panic attack anytime you're on these apps. I don't know the first time you guys had a panic attack. I specifically remember, I can't say who it was because I don't want to get in trouble, but I was at someone's house and I remember just feeling like this out of body experience, like I was watching myself in third person, and I got so dizzy. And this happens to me. The most frequent places I get panic attacks in are when I'm in someone's place of residence and I don't feel like I belong there. Even if I do, even if I've been invited, a lot of times when I enter other people's living spaces, I kind of have like a little bit of a panic attack because it just doesn't feel like I belong. It feels like too intimate of a setting. And probably this is when your alarm bells go off and you say, Garv, get the fuck to therapy. It's fine. I've worked it out. Okay. I just won't go to people's houses. No, see, you're avoiding the problem. Avoidant attachment style. That's what it is. See, once you start talking about therapy, everything starts to make sense. I do have all the answers. You can achieve anything through therapy. But yeah, I always get like, not always, but there are a lot of times I get panic attacks like when I'm in someone's house because I'm like, I don't think I should be here. It feels like such an honor to be in someone's place of living. So that if I'm there, I'm like, ooh, this is like overwhelming the amount of energy that like is saying I shouldn't be there. Does that make sense? You have that too? But it's weird. I'm comfortable basically any other place except someone's home if I feel like I don't belong. Everything gets dizzy and I'm like, you got some water? Yeah, I'd like to say that's really what grounds you. If you can just hold a glass of water and just kind of sip on it over time. Oh my God, that's amazing. I've noticed the way that someone points their phone at you is how you know if they're showing you what's on their phone or telling you to take it. But most of the time it's unclear. Like brunch, as we're talking about it. I went to brunch with a friend like a couple weeks ago and he was showing me something on his phone. And then how do I point this at you without you could see my home? No, it's okay. You can see my home screen. But he was showing me something on his phone. And he went like this, but then it was kind of like that. I was like, okay, is that a take or is that a look? So I kind of did that thing where I like reached out with my hand and then I'm just holding his phone while he's holding it too. And then I'm like trying to let go of it, but trying to communicate while having a conversation of like, you got your phone, right? So if I let go, you won't let go. And so if your screen cracks, that won't be on me. But people are often unclear. I feel like if you go like this, it's like, look at what's on the phone. But if you go like this, it's like, here, take the phone and look at it. But he was going like that. I was like, why are we at an angle? Why are we like this? Why are we in massage chairs while you're showing me pictures of you with parrots? What's going on there? So yeah, I got a little confused there. Because it's very clear, the rules, right? This is show, this is take. But often it is unclear. I don't think people understand the MO, what you're supposed to do in that situation. And so it leads to a lot of like this. And then when you reach out, it's a lot of like, what are you doing? Sorry. Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't like anyone touching my phone either. But because that, I would be so clear. I would be like, see, you can look at it here. Look at that. So is that not clear? Am I wrong? No, it's clear, right? When you go like this, it's like, take it. But if you go like that, it's like, look. And then if it's like this, it's like, here, just watch this YouTube video real quick. And it's 7 minutes, but it goes by fast. Okay, watch this. It's coming up. Okay, no, we can rewind here. It's so funny. Oh my God. You know that thing I always say when we're together? This is the video where it comes from. Here, I think, did it skip? Hold on. Oh, ad. We're going to have to watch. It's unskippable. Do you have YouTube Premium? Or whatever it's called now. What is it called? Yeah, YouTube. Oh, here we go. It restarted, stupid thing. Here, we'll just watch it from the start again. But those are the different ways you can show someone your phone. And I don't know if everyone's tapped in. I don't know if everyone's privy to the ways of doing things. I mean, if you've ever driven a car, that's immensely clear. That just because someone has a device doesn't mean they know how to use it. They just had enough money and then they were of age and then they were like, yeah, here you go. Because I'm convinced no one's ever taken a driving test. You're kidding me. You're telling me everyone out on the road took a written test and then took a, what do you call it? They had motion enough in a driving test to be awarded by another human being. Yeah, you can ride around with the others. That's wrong. Most of the time, right? The streets are like a playground. And most people are like kids that bite other kids. And then they're just allowed to be in the playground. You know what I'm saying? Like you were in elementary school and during recess, there was a kid that bit other kids. It was like his thing. The teacher wouldn't let the kid play with the other kids. Yet when we're driving on the street, there's essentially the same crimes that are equivalent to biting kids that people are performing. And we're just like, yeah, that's fine. That's part of it. No. Some of these drivers are kid biting kids, purple people eaters. You know what I'm saying? They're werewolves in London. And let me tell you what, driving on that road, it's quite a thriller because you never know what's going to happen out there. I was thinking about it and I was like, there's, all these celebrities, they're doing their press runs and for whatever movie they're on, it's a perpetual part of our society now. And they're always coming up with new ways, right? We got to get you on this Hot Ones. We got to get you on Chicken Shop Date. We got to get you on Therapus, right? With Jake Shane. There's all these things. And it's like, okay, put a celebrity there. Last year, fucking Kai Cenat, just go on his stream for like an hour. And then that'll be your press run. You don't have to do anything else, really. I have to go there and just do that. Yeah. Okay, what's the catch? We're not going to tell you. And then you show up and he's like, W chat, W, we got LeBron. Yo, W chat, let's get it. Yo, LeBron, yo, who smells the worst in the locker room? But I thought about it. I'm like, what's the next level of that? Because it's ever evolving. There'll be the next thing. And I was like, you know what they should do? They should subvert expectations. They should put a celebrity on a podcast, but then they just don't do anything. We keep putting celebrities on podcasts and they have to play a game or do a thing. But I was like, what if, right? We just flip this thing on its head. Me pitching to CEOs and executives. No, hear me out. Okay, you know how your celebrities usually have to go and do some goof and a gaff? Like they go on the Fallon, any of the Jimmys or whatever, and then they spin a wheel or they do like lip syncing or whatever the fuck. Well, hear me out. Let's just put them on a podcast and they don't have to do anything. And so this was my brilliant idea. I'm like, what if there was a podcast where the celebrity was just there, right? Imagine like right there. It's just Charlie Day. And he's promoting a new Mario movie. And he's Luigi, right? But he's just sitting there. Imagine if I just did my podcast and Charlie Day was there. And at the end, I would be like, oh, by the way, it's also Charlie has a new movie. Do you want to talk? Actually, no, you haven't talked at all. I don't want you to, trip and like tear whatever the equivalent of an Achilles of the throat would be. I'll say it. You haven't stretched. You got to be warm to do this kind of thing. Go see the Super Mario Galaxy movie. And special thanks to Charlie Day. I was like, that got to be the next thing where you just do a podcast, you just do your normal thing, and the celebrity is there. Nathan Fielder kind of did that, right? Years ago when he was on, I think, Jimmy Kimmel, or maybe it was Conan, and he had Susan Sarandon, right? And he was like, just in case I'm not interesting, I'm going to bring out an alternative guest. I think it was on Conan. And he was like, bring out Susan Sarandon. And then she sat next to him for the whole interview. And then he was like, Conan, if I'm ever not interesting or I don't have a good story, you can always ask the alternative guest. And then he just never used her. And it was so funny. And I was like, that's probably the next podcast. It'll just be a guy doing his stupid fucking podcast where he's talking about brown socks. And then Charlie Day will just be right there with Keegan-Michael Key, Jack Black, and fucking Donald Glover and Chris Pratt, right? It'll be the whole crew. And then I thought about it just a second more. I was like, oh, that's just Joe Rogan's podcast. I was like, oh, there's already the fucking idea. He just has people on. And then he's like, I'm just going to talk about whatever I'm going to talk about. If you want to chime in, you can. But I'm just going to do my thing. I was like, oh, it already exists. And it's the biggest podcast in the world. You ever do that where you like think of the idea? Like every dude's like, I thought of Uber. I'm like, yeah. But they don't know it's Uber yet. So you're listening to their idea and you're like, yeah. And the groceries just show up. You're never going to believe this, man. And so I accidentally created the Joe Rogan podcast. But even on that podcast, there's too much involvement from the guest. I'm saying, because this would be such a funny bit if there was just a A-list celebrity sitting right there. I don't even have a fucking chair. I have a printer. I think you can kind of see it peeking out of the frame. They can sit on that printer, I guess, as long as it's there. But I'm going to move that onto this shelf like next week. So they can sit on the ground, I guess. Because I don't have the budget for a chair. This doesn't make money. But I think it would really, right? I think it would be great. It would show the celebrity that, or they show the fans of the celebrity that, oh, look, they're tapped into niche internet culture. But no, I like where we're at. I like us. I like what we have. Aw. But no, I really do appreciate it. I think it's been the past couple months, these episodes have been getting a good amount of likes. And I thought about it. I'm like, as long as this podcast gets like 10 likes on every episode, amazing. That's really all I could ask for. A double-digit amount of people that are cool enough with themselves to be like, I'm going to leave a like on this podcast. I like that. That's a good spot to be in. Let's do that. I know looking at the stats, it seems like about 35 people watch every podcast episode every week. And then, there's some people that come in, but it seems like consistently like 35 people show up. But recently it's been like somewhere between 12 to 17 likes on every episode. And that's great. I love that number. So please and thank you for that. I really do appreciate it. It's awesome. I think that's a great place to be in for now. We'll scale later, right? When Charlie shows up, I'll be like, well, no, we're actually getting quite a lot of likes, right? Why are you so critical? Okay. You're the number 2. You're the other guy to Mario. Shut the fuck up, Charlie. Okay. Sorry. Well, cross Charlie off the list. He's not going to come on the pod now that I said that. Fuck. Also, the thing is, the podcast is called I'm Doing Well. I can't have a guest on. Sometimes my friends have been like, I know. Just give me the call. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you're going to have me on the pod eventually. I'm like, no, I'm not. I created a whole other podcast so I could like have friends on called All Ears. And then I stopped doing it because I'm like, oh yeah, no one knows who I am, so no one gives a fuck. And so I can't have guests on this podcast because it's in the title, guys. If there's one thing I am, it's consistent with my branding. It's called I Am Doing Well. And there's no I in we. Unless you're talking about the early 2000s Nintendo console, then there's a couple I's in we, actually. And if you find blood in your Wii, then you got to go to the hospital because that could be a real problem. So maybe, this is the only time I'll say this. Maybe shut the podcast off. Maybe go over there. But maybe drop a like before you head over to the ER, huh? Because we don't know how long you're going to be in there. Who knows? Maybe you won't come back before next week. And then, YouTube really cares about the first 24 to 48 hours of an episode. So if you really Yeah, I know, I know. Oh, yep, you're getting blood everywhere. But could you just, yeah, you just leave a like on your way out? It doesn't take too long. That's a testament to how easy it is to like these episodes. If you got a bloody dick, right? And I'm not talking it got cut on the outside, something's going on internally. You still got a little second to, even maybe one of the times when you're, oh my God, it hurts. Even when you're lunging forward, maybe, yeah, you can even accidentally press the like button. It's quite intuitive, I'm finding. What's this guy on about? Anywho, what song have I been listening to? Speaking of Super Mario Galaxy, Yoshi had a great song. Sorry. Donald Glover. Sorry. Childish Gambino. I really like his song Lithonia. It's been trending, I feel like, for the past few months, but I just gave it a listen by itself. I was like, oh, I like this song a lot. So yeah, shout out to Yoshi. Sorry. Donald Glover. Sorry. Childish Gambino. His 2024 release, Lithonia. I think it's a really great song. And I think this is a really great podcast. And I know you're listening to both of them on YouTube and Spotify in your free time. So keep up the support, and I'll keep it up on my end, huh? I'll stay in there for you guys. And thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching. And I will talk to you next week. Okay?